In the bustling city of Lagos, where the sound of Danfo buses honking filled the air and the aroma of freshly roasted corn mixed with the scent of fried akara from roadside vendors, lived a young man named Chinedu, who worked as a cleaner in a big corporate building on Victoria Island, a place where the rich walked past in tailored suits and shiny shoes, while the poor kept their heads down and worked silently, dreaming of a better life that seemed far away. Chinedu was not lazy. He was a hard-working soul who woke up every morning at 4 a.m. to take 2 buses and a keke just to get to work. He earned little, barely enough to send money home to his widowed mother in the village of Enugu. Yet he never complained, because he believed God saw every effort and one day his life would change. On a rainy Tuesday morning, as he was cleaning the lobby floor with his mop, he noticed an old woman struggling outside the glass doors. Her clothes were damp from the rain and her wrapper was tied loosely. She was holding a worn leather bag and trying to shield herself with a torn umbrella. Most people passed her without even looking. Some even frowned as if her presence was an inconvenience. Chinedu's heart moved with compassion, and without thinking twice, he dropped his mop, grabbed his small personal umbrella, and ran to her, greeting her respectfully. "Mama, please come in. The rain is too much," she smiled faintly, and tried to refuse, but her legs trembled and she leaned on him for support. He guided her into the lobby, found her a chair, and even went to the security post to get her some warm tea from his own flask. She thanked him quietly, calling him my son and blessing him with prayers that seemed to carry weight. He noticed her shoes were muddy, so he took a rag and wiped them clean without a second thought. As he worked, she asked him about his life, and he told her little bits: how his father had died when he was young, how his mother sold plantain in the village to keep him in school, and how he had come to Lagos in search of work, but all he could find was cleaning jobs. She listened with such focus, as if every word mattered, and when he was done speaking, she told him softly, "My son, never despise humble beginnings. The God who sees in secret will reward you openly." After some time she stood to leave. Chinedu offered to escort her to her taxi, but she insisted she would be fine. Still, he walked her to the gate holding the umbrella over her head, not knowing that this small act of kindness would change his life forever. 2 days later, Chinedu was called to the HR office. His first thought was fear. Had he done something wrong, maybe left the floor wet, or misplaced something? But instead the HR lady smiled, and said the CEO wanted to see him immediately. His heart pounded as he climbed the marble staircase. The CEO's office was the kind you only saw in movies: wide windows overlooking the lagoon, polished mahogany desk, and walls lined with awards. Behind the desk sat Chief Adewale, a tall man in a crisp white agbada, who studied Chinedu with keen eyes before breaking into a smile. "Young man, you met my mother 2 days ago," he said. Chinedu froze. The memory of the old woman in the rain flashed in his mind. "Mama told me about the cleaner who stopped his work to help her, who sheltered her, cleaned her shoes, and treated her with dignity when others walked past." The CEO continued, "In this world, people respect position and wealth, but you respected humanity. That is something money cannot buy." Chinedu's throat tightened, unsure if he should speak. Then the CEO dropped the news that almost made him faint. "From today you will no longer be a cleaner, you will work in our logistics department, and we will sponsor you to complete your education." Tears welled in Chinedu's eyes as he dropped to his knees to thank him, but the CEO quickly stood, lifted him up, and shook his hand firmly like an equal. Word spread around the building like wildfire, and some of the very people who had ignored the old woman now greeted Chinedu with respect. But he never allowed pride to enter his heart. Instead, he worked harder than ever, sending more money home to his mother and visiting the CEO's mother regularly, always calling her Mama Ade, and carrying fresh bread or fruit for her. Months turned into years, and Chinedu not only finished his education but rose to become one of the most trusted managers in the company. Whenever people asked how he got there, he would smile and say, "It started with an umbrella and a willing heart." And the story became an inspiration that traveled beyond the company, teaching everyone that the person you help today might be the key to your breakthrough tomorrow. In the end, Chinedu bought a comfortable house for his mother in Enugu, and on the day of the housewarming, Mama Ade herself came, blessing the home and telling all the villagers, "Kindness opens doors that qualifications alone cannot." And as the sun set over the red earth and the air filled with the smell of jollof rice cooking for the celebration, Chinedu looked at the sky and whispered a quiet prayer of thanks, knowing deep inside that no good deed is ever wasted. So my dear brothers and sisters, always help others without expecting anything in return. because you never know when that little act might be the turning point in your destiny. If you enjoyed this story, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment so we can keep sharing more inspiring tales that touch the heart.